There is a corner of the day so still you can almost hear this planet creaking on its axis. A magic time when elves would be if elves could be, and promise stands poised to swap dominion with dreams. A time of waking. Brittle, fleeting, pure, this gift, the dawn. Cradle of a crystal day to fill, or not fill, as we might wish. Of every boy, there is a time when his future leaps before him like a symphony of Saturdays. The notes are frogs and peanut butter and fantasies of heroic deeds and small, smooth stones that feel good in the hand and stuff like that. He wraps the days around him like a magician's cloak, warm and comfortable and mysterious. And then one day, from the random phrases of his Saturday world, he begins to sense a certain order, rhythms other than the beat of his own heart. There is a moment, a few and fragile years, when he begins to discover the drama of lives other than his own. One day he will remember it as the discovery of the art of seeing the universe in a leaf, a cloud, a stranger's eyes. His Saturday world grows too small to hold the things he feels and the things he doesn't understand. He looks around and discovers he is a part of a great adventure, far more mysterious and not nearly so comfortable as the cloak he wears. Beautiful, innocent, dangerous, these years. For if life, as some sonnet might say, is like a symphony, then it is the morning years, these waking years, that will determine whether that symphony be noise or eloquence.
I guess it's an experience that sort of happens once in a lifetime anyway, and it's hard to believe it ever occurred. Can you really believe you went Conran? You didn't go? Well, maybe someday you'll get to go there and see it.
You are witness to a dialogue which began some 15 centuries ago. A tradition born before St. Augustine, Muhammad, or Justinian. The dialogue you hear has echoed through the hush of the Imperial Chapel in Vienna, the cold stone of Westminster Abbey, the ancient shadows of St. Mark's in Venice, in Canterbury, in Regensburg, in Florence, and even here in a schoolhouse on the southern skirt of America. This is a boys' choir, the Texas Boys' Choir. A group of Texas youngsters plucked from their Saturday world of bikes and tree houses and sandlots and plunked in another peopled by Stravinsky and Bach and Beethoven and Ives. A gaggle of kids as comfortable in St. Mark's Cathedral as in the mesquite thicket. On Saturday they'll raise their voices in passionate childish irrelevancy, and on Monday they'll sing the world's most honored classics in any of 7 languages. The Texas Boys' Choir. Uniquely gifted, uniquely American. a huckleberry bunch of youngsters recognized as one of the finest boy choirs in the world.
Now, in every concert, there are three
And
elements.
this is its founder and director, Mr. George Bragg,
Composers.
one of a long line of gifted teacher musicians who, since before the time of Pope Gregory, have helped fill the waking years of young boys with music and with meaning. It's a magic thing, the dialogue between this man and these boys. It's a thing as small as the relationship between a single boy and a man, as large as the conversation between all boys and the voice of reason and conscience.
Messages to the audience. Now, all three elements are important. Suppose we're recording, and our performance is technically perfect. Each word is accurately articulated and enunciated, and your voices are brilliant, and your tones are ringing in their proper place, and everything is technically superb. Now, is that all? Is that enough?
No, sir.
Of course not. Whether it's a bluegrass ballad or Beethoven, there must be something else. And what do you suppose that it would be? When you hear Beethoven's Sixth Symphony, the Pastoral, what do you see? A glade, a brook, maybe a storm, the shepherd playing his pipes. But you not only see these things, you feel them. You have a sense of place. And he wrote what he felt about a place that he loved. And performers must feel that same love and convey that feeling to the listener. Now, this song we're going to sing is about a place. It's about America. It's a love song. But how can you sing a love song if you don't know the thing you love? As you sing, you have to take a mental and an emotional trip through your native land. You've got to wiggle your toes in its earth and its history. You've got to feel America. Okay, let's sing about it.
Many of us go through life without belonging to anything but the symbols of our desires. We look, but we do not feel. We occupy, but we do not belong. To learn to feel is an opportunity found only in the waking years. It may never come again. To begin to feel a harmony with one's environment. Suddenly to find that you belong to that particular patch of earth on which you stand, and it to you. To feel America for the first time is an adventure beyond compare. To find a redwood forest shrouded in mist and know it stood before you were and will be standing when you are gone, and to think about that for a while. To see history carved in a mountain, and to think about that for a while. To see grain fields bending in the wind, and rivers digging canyons, and mountains growing old, and to think about that for a while. But there is more to the waking years. What about one's place in time?
No one really invented musical instruments. They just evolved. The great-grandfather of this instrument was the hunter's bow. And from that evolved the lyre that King David of the Bible played. The lute was already 2,000 years old when Nero fiddled while Rome burned. And although music is an alive and dynamic thing, its function as a sort of mirror for the human spirit has been constant through the ages. If you want to know what someone a long time ago did or said, you can read a history book. And if you want to know what they thought, you read their literature. But if you want to know what they felt, then listen to their music. And as you listen, as you travel on the wings of music to other times and other places, you will find that the ancient dreams and fears and hopes and joys of men are not distant and not forgotten, but alive. Alive in what Longfellow called that timeless, universal language of mankind.
The time of our lives is merely a winking of history's eye. Where do we belong in time? It is in the waking years that the young boy discovers he is a part of a great continuum, where only the ticking of a clock separates him from a million lives essentially the same as his own. He walks the same stone others have walked, and the stone is as hard as it always was. The air feels warm, the same wind blows, and a tight string struck sings the same sound it has always sung. Only the clock builds walls. The family of man has walked its way through endless passages of light and shadow, and across pastures of stone. And incredibly, it's the stone, not the feet of man, that is worn away. The human family endures. And suddenly, in the waking years, the young boy discovers he is a part of that endurance.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. A long way from home. A long way from
And just when it seems that perhaps for much of the world God has blown out the sun and walked away, the boy discovers an awareness of a certain triumph in human history, that at certain times, in certain places, the human spirit soars.